Megan the Stallion set to host the MTV VMAs. Angel Reese drops new merch with Reese's. Forbes announces their 50 over 50, and Beyonce brings in the whiskey. Hey, critics, and welcome back to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel where you get commentary reviews and tabloid news. I'm your host, Patricia Hartley. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. It's Thursday, August the 22nd, 2024. Hey, critics, it's time to chronicle. Up first, y'all, let's talk Black on the Cover, where we highlight Blacks on the cover of the latest magazines. Up first, let's talk New York Times best-selling author. Her name is Nicola Yoon. She's on the cover of AudioFile talking about her brand new book, One of Our Kind. Also, the young scientist, his name is Heyman Bakel. He is the Kid of the Year on the front of the Times Magazine. Now, I talked about the fact that Kamala Harris is actually on the cover of the August the 26th issue of Time Magazine, but they seem to have, it looks like, about 3 different covers on the same issue, right? So she is on the cover of the August 26th issue, but also this young scientist, the Kid of the Year, he's also on the front of there as well. Also want to just kind of encourage you, if you have a chance, this young man just kind of talks about his experience of coming over here to America and how he kind of got into this scientific way of making what they believe is soap that's going to actually cure cancer. So be sure to check that out if you get a chance. Damon Wayans Sr. and Damon Wayans Jr., they're on the cover of the 10th issue of Emmy Magazine, as well as Miss Zoe Kravitz, who's on the cover of Esquire. Congratulations on your brand new horror film that was just released. And just so happened that the individual who's starring in her film, her name is Naomi Ackie, she's on the cover of the Hollywood Reporter's August the 21st issue. Just remember that all magazines mentioned were sourced through Hoopla, and Hoopla is a streaming platform made possible through our local library. And while I have Hoopla on the mind this week, let's go talking a little bit about some of these books. I'm gonna this time honor them just kind of for folks who have basically written children's books, starting with Miss Taraji P. Henson. Her book, You Can Be a Good Friend, is available on audiobook there on Hoopla, as well as Mary J. Blige's Mary Can. It's also, the author actually reads the audiobook. So Taraji actually reads her book. Mary J. Blige reads her children's book. Grace Byers as well. She has a children's book called I Am Enough. And I Believe I Can. And I Believe I Can, which is her second book. So the first one, I Am Enough, then the other one, I Believe I Can. She narrates both books. Tiffany Haddish has a children's book called Layla, the Last Unicorn. And I Promise, which is the book by LeBron James, is actually read by his mother, Gloria James. So all of those children's books are books that you can actually check out on Hoopla. Wanted to kind of do something in honor of the fact that y'all school is starting back, all of the things. So whether it's K through 12, whether it's college, whether you work in those environments as a teacher or as a professor, as a staff member, just want to give a shout out to y'all. Have a very safe school year there. And as a reminder, we always here at the Critic Chronicles talk about our public library announcement. Here at the Critic Chronicles, our goal is to provide quality but juicy content from websites, digital magazines, and tabloids, most of which are sourced from our public libraries. Research from the National Library of Medicine show that there are an estimated 17,000 public libraries nationwide, totaling 4 million visits each day. Public libraries are civic organizations that are committed to providing invaluable resources beyond books that are free and open to the public. Get your library card to access thousands of resources today. All right, critics, you know what time it is. It's time for critical news that you can use. Want to start off actually with a correction. In the previous episode when I was speaking about Halle Berry's daughter and her age, I believe I said that I thought she was 18. Correction, she's not 18. She actually just turned 16, I believe, this past March. So yeah, I talked about some of the challenges that Halle Berry was actually facing in regards to her son, though, not her daughter, specifically her son, but wanted to make that correction that Halle Berry's daughter is actually 16. She's not 18. Also want to send our love to the family of the rapper there in Houston, Beat King. Real name, I believe, is Justin Riley. He was reportedly making an appearance on August the 15th when he fainted and was then rushed to the hospital where he passed away. The death of the artist is believed to have been caused by a pulmonary embolism, which is a life-threatening condition where a blood clot blocks an artery in the lungs. Beat King was known for his music style and his significant impact on hip hop culture in the South during the early 2000s. Also, want to say rest in peace to the longtime television host Phil Donahue. He was a talk show host there for over 30 years. He passed away at the age of 88, as well as famous Amos, the black man who's very famous for those famous Amos cookies. He also passed away as well. And while we're kind of talking a little bit about giving our condolences, let's talk a little bit, y'all, about this presidential election. Well, the Democrats, they had their Democratic National Convention, baby, and they pulling out all the stops, including the Obamas as well as Oprah on the third day. I'm focused then though on the fact that Michelle spoke, because I love it when Michelle Obama gets out and she actually speaks. Want to kind of talk a little bit real quick about the Republicans being on that being issued, y'all, cease and desist, because they playing music at these events and they're not supposed to, right? Beyonce music, Isaac Hayes music. Y'all better stop that. Y'all better stop that. But the Republicans are still making their rounds as well. And as reported on our August the 20th show, Michelle did show up and show out at the Democratic National Convention. And while I know others spoke, Michelle was the highlight. Okay. Michelle reminded the Democrats of the past that they brought. She also reminded us of the story of Kamala. And she brought that into the fold, just kind of talking about her being the child of immigrants. And she threw shade at the Republican Party, speaking truth, asking who's going to tell him that the job that he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs, referring to President Trump when he said that many of the jobs that were taken by some of those who were not black were black jobs. Okay. Yeah. I won't go into the details of how he said it, but it was very offensive to be honest. So hearing somebody actually respond to it was very, very impressive. And while, of course, the 44th president followed up, President Obama came out looking smooth as always. You know what I'm saying? He even knew, though, it was stupid. It was a stupid idea to follow Michelle. Overall, basically, the campaigns, y'all, are still going on. And no matter which side you are on, be sure that you are registered to vote for whatever term or election that you might want to vote in. Not just the presidential elections, right? But you also have your local elections. And in my opinion, that's where you can really make the most change, is in your local government. Let's talk a little bit about Coco Gauff. She is now the face of Wheaties. General Mills just announced that Coco Gauff is the new face of the Wheaties box, and I got this information directly from Essence.com. She joins basically a long list of athletes, and while the front of the box shows the tennis sensation, the back talks about how she defines her own destiny. Picking up her first tennis racket at the age of 6, by age 14, Coco was playing professionally, and Venus and Serena were both her inspiration. In fact, there's actually images that I've seen online of her at some of the matches of Serena Williams. I think it was specifically, I think she was at one of her matches, was the photo that I may have seen. But her standout quote on the box reads, "Always dream big and don't let anyone limit your dreams, because the possibilities are endless." Shout out to Coco Gauff, and also shout out to Megan Thee Stallion. She's actually going to be hosting the MTV Video Music Awards. Just saw that today. Remember, the awards are set to air on September the 11th. And I reported on the August the 20th show that many of the nominees for the culture included Meg Thee Stallion as well as Glorilla. Well, Megan, you're going to be busy. You're going to be nominated and you're going to be hosting the event. They're going to be leading the culture, y'all. And Billboard reports that this is the 4th year a rapper has hosted the event. Doja Cat back in 2021. I know that they call Doja a rapper. Doja is she's such a crossover that I don't consider her. When I think Doja Cat, she don't go into the rapper category for me. However, because she's a crossover, it seems like artists in terms of kind of singing and rapping, right? It seems like she's able to kind of be in both categories. So I'm getting used to that. I'm working on it. But she actually hosted the MTV VMAs back in 2021. Jack Harlow also has hosted it before. LL Cool J, also Nicki Minaj hosted it, I think, with LL Cool J one year. And then the next year she hosted it by herself. But performers that have been added to the lineup, in addition to Glorilla that I've reported, is Lenny Kravitz and also Sabrina Carpenter. MTV is a little slow on telling us who's actually going to perform, and I kind of understand why. They kind of want to let the momentum build up, or maybe they really just don't know yet. Whatever the case may be, I'm still looking and watching, and as I continue to report, I'm going to be sharing with y'all who's going to be performing. There's still time, though, if you're wondering, how in the world are they going to be choosing these folks that's going to be getting the awards? Well, you can go over there and you can vote. Just hit them up over there at mtv.com. And speaking of hitting them up, y'all, Angel Reese is still hitting it up. She's actually partnering with Reese's Candy, and she's doing a limited edition. If you don't know, baby, the drip has dropped. Oh, baby, the drip has dropped. An Angel Reese and Reese's Pieces collection is now available on angelreese.com. She has shirts, hats, sweatshirts, all of it with Reese's logo at the top. It's kind of like the Reese's logo at the top. And then right under it is her name, Angel. Congrats on that collaboration, along with the drop that you're about to do tomorrow with what, Reebok? Girl, follow the drip. Follow the drip. And I'm not talking about the drip of a Jerry curl, baby. I'm talking about the drip of them dollar signs. Shout out to Angel Reese and congratulations again. And while we're talking about like WNBA, y'all, let's get up on it. Let's talk about Asia Wilson, who's over there showing up and showing out. I talked to y'all about the fact that she had a book, but before I do that, I want to give her a congratulations because she recently earned the Dawn Staley Community Leadership Award for her dedication and positive impacts on the community. Now, this award, y'all, goes to the player who best exemplifies the characteristics of a leader in the community where they work or they live. And Asia Wilson has a great book that was released this year. It's called Dear Black Girls. It's actually on Libby. So I typically talk about Hoopla, which is one of the free platforms through your public library, but Libby is also another platform as well. Very easy to sign up. You typically only need like your library card and whatever password that you have through your library. But she mentions Dawn, which was her former coach, in her book as well. And this is why I believe this is kind of like a full circle moment, right? You kind of think about the fact that Asia played basketball with Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley also played basketball, which is why she has this community leadership award that's in her name. So all of this is just kind of coming around. Asia has also had a great year. She did fantastic over at the Olympics with the Team USA basketball. So shout out to her for just having a great year. Asia also has a foundation that she began back in 2019 to benefit children with dyslexia, a cause that resonates deeply with her. And she talks about this as well in her book about how she just kind of learned. She realized that she went along, she learned in terms of classroom learning a little bit differently. And I can definitely relate to that as well, Asia. And you know who else can relate? Angel Reese. I know that some of the reports back before she was drafted and she was still in college prior to graduating over at LSU, it was some reports that she was having some challenges with her classwork. And I'm not sure if I ever heard her directly talk about it, but I also believe that when it comes to athletes and sort of the pressure of being a player, but then also the pressure of also keeping up with your studies, I think there's some room for growth with that. So I'm gonna leave it at that for now, but I do believe that there's some room for growth and there's an opportunity. I think there's an opportunity, opportunity there. Congrats again to Team USA for bringing home the gold in women's basketball. And y'all, it's a WNBA weekend. Actually, look, WNBA in the next month or so until it's over. Basically, it's gonna be popping. As a reminder, if you want to watch any of some of these games, they are going to be on Amazon Prime. So if you are an Amazon Prime account holder, you should be able to watch these games. Tonight, you can catch the Dallas Wings in New York Liberty. Friday, it's going to be Phoenix Mercury versus Atlanta Dream, and the Chicago Sky will take on Connecticut Suns. LA Sparks versus Washington Mystics, and also the Aces versus the Lynx. Those are all games happening on Friday. Saturday, Connecticut Sun versus New York Liberty, and Indiana Fever versus Minnesota Lynx. For the latest on the WNBA, be sure to check out the website at WNBA.com. And if I did not say this before, that story that I just got from about Asia Wilson, that was actually from WNBA.com's website. They did a press release. So I got that information directly from there if I did not say that before. And let's talk a little bit about whiskey, y'all. A little bit about some Tennessee whiskey. It ain't Tennessee. It's more like Beyonce whiskey. I just kind of think Tennessee because when I took a trip to Tennessee a few years ago, they were all about the whiskey in downtown. Shout out to Tennessee, as well as Kentucky, as well. So let's talk about, actually, correction, Kentucky was where I went. It was not Tennessee. It was Kentucky. So that is my correction on that. So Beyonce just introduced a new whiskey brand. It's called Sir Davis. Forbes.com describes the whiskey as a Japanese style inspired whiskey made in collaboration with Hennessy. Dr. Bill Lumsden described the drink as Scottishness with malted barley in the mash bill. Now, I'm not familiar with these tastes, especially even when it comes to the wines and just kind of how they're supposed to, layer your palate. I'm not familiar. But just like anything else, Beyonce reportedly has her hands all over this product. The article continues to say that the quality of the bottle is the most noticeable thing right off the bat. Tall with rounded flute edges, looking more like a statue or a vase that would stand out on a top shelf or be comfortable as a statement piece on its own with its rose gold hue. Beyonce's looking good in the photos. She's looking good in the brand. And congratulations on it. The brand new whiskey. Let's talk Forbes. Forbes magazine. We're going black on the inside. Forbes magazine, y'all, has its August and September issue out. On page 19, Forbes highlights their 50 over 50, and it includes director, writer, and producer Ava DuVernay and head coach of the University of South Carolina women's basketball team, Coach Dawn Staley, whom we just spoke about. On page 53, they highlight Dodgers All-Star Mookie Betts, who discusses business ventures beyond baseball. On page 77, they highlight Promise CEO Phaedra Ellis Lampkins and how she built Promise into a $520 million powerhouse, a company that helps pay utility bills. And speaking of business women, I believe that there's an interview that actually Forbes did with Phaedra Ellis Lampkins, and she kind of gives a breakdown of how it's a small company. They have not overly expanded. It honestly sounds like they're still growing. So if you're somebody who you check out this interview, you like her, we're in an age now where you can DM somebody and be like, hey, this is my resume. This is the link to my website. We're in a day and age now where it's like, boom, send them a QR code, tell them to scan it, and that all your information is right there. Is right there. You can fill out the application later, right? But congratulations to all of those women who have made the list of 50 over 50. And I want to round it out today talking a little bit about Tyrese, y'all. Well, Tyrese has been making his rounds. Oh my goodness. Singer Tyrese has been out there lately, y'all. We all know that on August the 11th, Tyrese performed the national anthem at the Los Angeles Rams versus Cowboys game, and the performance resulted in a few bad notes. He even admitted to it when he went on the Breakfast Club for the interview. And many critics believe that was because just Tyrese was not himself, right? Instead of him just being Tyrese and singing the song, he was trying to theme the performance. It looked like more of an old school Marvin Gaye inspired look, which we now know based off of his interview, that it was actually for his Wildflower music video that was dedicated to his late mother. He also said that Wildflower is available everywhere, including on his YouTube page. I had a chance to check it out. It's actually a remake song, and I really do like the song. There's more information to come as it pertains to this. But right now, I want to focus on the fact that Tyrese went on the Breakfast Club promoting his brand new project. But the interview didn't focus on your project, Tyrese. It didn't. You know what else? I'm glad it was Tyrese on the Breakfast Club instead of that white man trying to tell the culture how to behave before he tells his own kind how to change those oppressive systems that are in place. But moving right along. So much is surrounding Tyrese, as I said before. And that interview that he did on the Breakfast Club recently resulted in him crying. Now, I don't think the tears were bad. What I think was bad was whoever was over at the Breakfast Club that do the thumbnails for YouTube, instead of them posting just a regular picture of Tyrese at the darn station, they specifically put up the one of Tyrese crying. Y'all are not right. That's messier than anything I'm about to say, baby. That's messier than anything I'm about to say. I also thought at one point Tyrese was going in the direction of kind of like that secular music, right? Or even gospel, right? The way him and his ex Samantha used to hang out with all the God-fearing fellow folks, the God-fearing fellow shippers. I thought that he would be best friends with like Pastor Keon by now. Maybe he is actually best friends with Pastor Keon, but they don't say that out loud. But in terms of what I thought his life was looking like at one point in time, that is the direction. I'm talking about speaking at Women Evolve events. That's the direction I really thought Tyrese was going. Okay. But after watching the interview that Tyrese did with the Breakfast Club, I needed a nap, y'all. So I took one. Now I'm up and I'm ready to finish off the show. But I came back. I'm back. Because Tyrese spoke about his ex-wife again, even though he is in a relationship with someone else that he's been in a relationship with, it sounds like, for 4 years, even if it was on and off. He wasn't with Samantha, which is his ex-wife, right? But he continues to talk about her. What I thought was the most interesting thing, I don't even know if interesting is the right phrasing for it, really, y'all. Tyrese seems like he just working to work. I mean, to working to pay whatever the bills that he has to in terms of child support. And I get it, Tyrese, you're still mad or feel a type of way about your ex-wife filing for divorce and taking you for $20,000 a month because y'all have a child together. So you are paying that child support. And I get it. You feel some kind of way. And it's been 4 years and we still hearing about it. So I hope this album that you're doing, what you're doing, even though it is honoring your mom, I do hope that it's also some form of therapy for you to get anything out that you have been holding on to for these past 4 years. Because I want you to get it out. If you write a book, you do write books, right? If y'all don't know, Tyrese has books. He's written a collab book as well with Rev Run, which is another reason I really thought that he was going, in the direction of more of like the gospel, the gospel side of things. And I'm not saying that he can't still go in that direction. I'm just saying that at one point in time, that's what it looked like his life was like. But after you and Samantha, y'all called it quits. She filed for divorce. I think you saw her as somebody who was just looking for money, and so you couldn't see her the same anymore. I'm also, Samantha, you also tried to get back with him, girl, after you filed for divorce and wanted $20,000 a month. Did you? Is that true? You did? You did. I know you did because you said that in an interview yourself. I also found it interesting that DJ Envy had to leave at the beginning of the interview to go and do something with his the car show. In my opinion, alleged. The car show is a cover up for something else. Probably that housing stuff that you ripped everybody off. I'm sorry, you didn't do that. You're not a scammer. It's the guy that you brought into the audience of everybody who's really a scammer. But you ain't taking no accountability for the fact that you brought a scammer in front of your humongous audience of Black and brown people, and you still refuse to take any accountability for the fact that you had a hand in that. Even if it wasn't directly, you had a hand in that. Tyrese, I hope you never want to be DJ Envy's friend again. Envy is low-key, high-key, a scammer. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. Forgive me, I misspoke. He's so scammer adjacent that he looks like a scammer. So good thing that you did have to leave the interview. I invite you to do that for other interviews as well, because you don't even know half of the legends that come on to your show. I wanted to give you a little bit more information about how you can check Tyrese out. These are some free Hoopla resources about his work, including his 2011 album, Open Invitation, his movie, The Collective. And then also, I told you that he did a book with Rev Run. It's called Manology, and it was released back in 2017, as well as Tyrese's own book. It's called How to Get Out of Your Own Way. All right, y'all, let's go Black on the Inside of Life and Styles, August the 26th issue. It ain't over, y'all, for the Olympics Games. Snoop and Martha Stewart are captured on page 10 at the Dressage Team Grand Prix special. And of course, Meg Thee Stallion is captured in a cow print themed outfit, while Halle Berry is captured playing with her kittens topless. And of course, tennis star Serena Williams was caught on page 18 talking acting after retirement, and maybe even in action star, some sort of like an action hero. She wants to be like an action hero star. Page 21 talks the baby joy and drama between Offset and Cardi B. Cardi B is suing one of the YouTubers. I just saw that on one of the lives. I think she's suing Storm Monroe. So sending, I don't know what I need to send that way, but I'll be keeping up a little bit with what's going on. As a reminder, Cardi B also filed for divorce from Offset just one day before announcing her pregnancy. And although we've seen the back and forth between these two and at times thought it was a publicity stunt, Cardi seems to be sticking to her guns this time. But again, y'all, I'm not going to believe nothing until I see the ink on the paper that say we divorced. It's a wrap. And even then we know that folks don't always call it quits when they call it quits. Right, Carisha? We also thought the same thing with Kiki. Either way, congratulations on your new bundle of joy, if nothing else. And rapper Big Sean is asked about why he has not proposed to girlfriend Janae Aiko, whom she shares a son with. The rapper responded saying, "There's a lot of work that needs to be done. We've had our ups and downs." Okay, I guess that's enough. Whatever. You know, you don't know about people ins and outs of their true relationship typically until it's too late. Well, Halle Berry is also on page 34 promoting her movie Union. Had a chance to kind of be in the room when it was on. Haven't seen all of it, but what I saw was very good. Action, all of the Halle Berry is out there looking. Yes, Miss Berry, Miss Berry. And Mark Wahlberg is also looking pretty good in the movie as well. Wanted to give a side note and say Mark actually pulled up. Mark Wahlberg has his own like burger business or whatever. I had a chance to eat there before. But apparently, I guess they were on set. They was talking about it, him and Halle Berry, when they were filming the movie. And Mark popped up at Halle Berry's house with the dang on food truck, so her and her now partner can actually try some Mark Wahlberg burgers. So shout out to Mark for doing that for Halle Berry. She also talked about oh, you can check that movie out, y'all, on Netflix if I didn't have a chance to say that. And on page 43, there is a union that's shown between Jennifer Hudson and Sarah Jessica Parker in front of the Eiffel Tower there in Paris. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much again for tuning in to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel. If you missed the previous episode, no worries. I've linked it below. In the previous episode, we discussed Nicki Minaj's lawsuit settlement, Sexy Red's new controversial lip gloss line, and I also heard that she had to cancel some concerts. Oh, Sexy Red, that's what's going on, girl? And of course, I talk Halle Berry's custody battle. Plus, we go inside the August the 26th issue of People Magazine. Thanks again for tuning in to the Critic Chronicles YouTube channel, where you get commentary, reviews, and tabloid news. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload.